morning, Quadcopter 101 here. What I got for you today is a review of the Seafly Obtain. Really nice quadcopter. Well, it looks nice. We'll find out if it flies nice and how well it performs. But as you can see, this is another folding quadcopter. This one's not a toy grade. Not a toy grade at all. It's kind of actually expensive. Let me, first off, remove this from the camera. It has a 1080p camera. I'll discuss that here shortly. But to unfold this, you bring the front arms out first, like so. And you bring the back arms down and all the way back, like so. And then you unfold them like that. And finally, do this. Open up these propellers, because if you let centrifugal force move them, they actually don't do it very well because they're kind of a little bit tight in their pivots. So you might want to open them up first before flying. So that is it. That's it opened up. Let me get a thumbnail real quick while I'm holding it with this, with its controller against the background here. Got to have a nice thumbnail, folks. Always got to have a nice thumbnail. Okay, let's talk about the quadcopter now. The quadcopter is powered by this big battery here. It is a, I believe it's 11.1 volt. Yep, 3,800 milliampere hour battery. So we got a 3S 38 milliampere hour battery. It is placed in like so. It does have a, you press this button here and it'll tell you what charge you got here. I don't know if you can see that or not, but that is not how to start the quadcopter though. Don't depend on that to start the quadcopter. It took me a while to figure out. This is the on-off button on top here. And speaking of about taking a while to figure out, the instruction manual for this is very poor. It's very tiny. It's like postage stamp size. I actually had to use a magnifying glass to read it. And it wasn't really clear on all things that you need to know about this quadcopter to get it in the air. And some of the things were just plain wrong. But we'll go over how to get this in the air, because it took me a while to figure it out, but I believe I have it figured out. But let's go more over the quadcopter itself. We have brushless motors. We have a 1080p camera with 3-axis gimbal, so it should be relatively stable video. One problem I did have, and I'm going to discuss this later in more detail and include, I'm not going to open this, but this is where your SD card goes. And the SD card slot is one of the most unusual SD card slots I've seen before. You got to put the card down like flat like a pancake, and it has a hinge that goes over the top, and it just doesn't hold the card in there securely. So to get, to get this card to record, or to get to record on the card, I had to put a piece of paper in there to make sure it's getting good contact, and I'll show you that later on. Other than that, that is the quadcopter. Let's go over the controller. This is important to discuss this controller. This can be controlled either via Seafly app or through the controller. If you're going to control it through the controller, and you want to use the app, first off, you need a phone with 5.8 gigahertz Wi-Fi 802.11 AC capability. Again, not all phones have that capability. Before purchasing this, make sure your phone is a 5G Wi-Fi capable phone, 802.11 AC. Otherwise, the app is not going to connect to the quadcopter. Okay. If you're flying through the controller, notice we have 2 antennas on the back here. One of them is to control the quadcopter, and the other one is a Wi-Fi relay. Your phone, if you're going to be using the controller instead of connecting directly to the quadcopter via the controller, keep in mind you can fly this using your app only using your phone. I don't recommend doing it that way, but you can. But you only get a range out, maybe out to 80 meters or so before the quadcopter is going to fly back. It'll run out of range of this phone and then do an automatic return to home. If you want to get greater range and still get FPV, you're going to need to use the repeater in this controller. And the way to do that is to connect the Wi-Fi to this to this controller. Don't connect directly to the quadcopter. When you look in your Wi-Fi signals, available Wi-Fi signals after turning on this controller, you should notice 2 different signals, one for the quadcopter and one for the controller. You want to connect your phone to the controller. Then the controller will automatically connect to the phone. So in effect, you're going to go relay from your phone to controller to the quadcopter, and it's going to go, the signal is going to go in reverse to the controller first and then to your phone. So you'll get greater range that way without bumping into like 80 meters or so, and then it'll be flying back automatically. So I've noticed some people have been doing that, and I think that's the problem that they were having, is they were connecting the phone directly to the quadcopter and running out of range, having range restrictions in. The buttons on this, let's go over it. We have, this here is for sending the gimbal up and down. This button here, make sure I can move it, is 3-position switch. You can fly in altitude hold, in GPS position hold, or in circle me mode. Okay, these two here are both GPS modes, and this one here does not have GPS connection. The manual recommends taking off in altitude hold. Now, if you do that, keep in mind it's going to drift with the wind, so you're going to have to counter that wind once you're in the air. And then once it's in the air and stable, then you put it to GPS mode, and it should automatically maintain its position. The other switches on this one here is not labeled. I've seen some instructions saying this is for setting up the gyro compass, or the compass calibration. I haven't seen any instructions how to do that using this switch, so I have set up the compass calibration using the app. You can also use the app to calibrate the compass on the quadcopter. And with that in mind, one problem I did have, in the app says to do a horizontal rotation first, and then one single vertical rotation first with the nose of the quadcopter pointed upward. I could not get it to calibrate. What I did was, if I did it in reverse with nose up and then horizontal, then it would calibrate. So keep that in mind if you're having problems calibrating the compass. Other buttons on this is return to home. You bring it down like so, and it will do an automatic return to home. And this one here is not applicable right now. This is for future implementation, so it's NA. And as far as I know, this one's still NA until they have documentation on how to use that to calibrate the compass. It does have automatic takeoff and automatic landing, which you activate by pressing this button here. And this photo and video button, I could not get this one to work either. The only way I could get it to record is through the CFly app. So let's set it up. I'll show you how to set it up. I'm going to get its guard here for the gimbal out of the way. And the first thing we need to do is make sure all these switches are up in their upright position, and then turning on the transmitter, and we got our green light on the transmitter. And to turn on the quadcopter, let me put it in the center here. Okay, once, twice, holding down, letting go. Okay, that time I hear the ESCs, and make sure we got a light in the back. Okay, right now we got a blue light, and while it's doing its thing, I'm going to turn on and activate the app. Okay, this is the CFly app. When you open it up, it first opens up with a different aircraft from CFly. You don't want that aircraft. We're going to swipe to the left, and that's the obtain aircraft. That's the one we're going to connect to. And then you hit enter, and it will open up here shortly. And we see that we got FPV view. Now it says the drone is under remote controller control. This is true, so we're going to hit OK. And we're going to hit the upper right corner there, the 3 dots. And we're going to enter in general settings once we open that up. And we're set to, beginner's mode is turned off, but you can turn on beginner's mode, and that's going to restrict our flight to 50 meters out and 30 meters up. We don't want that, so we're going to turn that off. So beginner mode is off. Virtual joystick setting is set to left hand. We want that, but we are again we're controlling it through the controller. So, and I do have it set up to mode 2 with the throttle on the left. It can switch back and forth, by the way. There is a way to do that, and I'll include a link to the CFly video that shows how to do that. We're going to do a compass calibration. We're going to try it first. Hit compass cal, and press calibrate to start the magnetometer calibration. And we're going to do a level rotation first. Let's see if that works. We'll give it one try. Level rotation. And then a vertical nose up rotation it tells you to do. And calibration failed, so we're going to try it one more time. Drone is under remote control. We're going to recalibrate. This time we're going to try nose up rotation. See if that helps. One rotation nose up, and one rotation level. And it failed again. Now I'm not going to do another calibration. I got it to calibrate at home. It took me many tries, and that's an issue with this. C-Flash is going to need to look into that, because it is hard as heck to calibrate this. Okay, it says we're ready for takeoff here. We got 11 satellites, and but I am blinking red and green. Hold on. We're going to start the motors first. We got solid green, and I'm going to stop the motors. Stopping the motors by down and inboard. Okay, now I'm going to start the video recording, which is that button there. There. Okay, we should be ready to take off. Let's do an automatic takeoff this time. Again, I'm taking off in altitude hold. I'm going to have to remember this is going to drift with the wind, so I'm going to have to counter that until I switch to position hold. Okay, automatic takeoff does not work, I guess, unless the motors are running. So starting the motors up again and pressing takeoff. And that stopped it. Starting the motors again and doing a quick press. How about a... Okay, I manually took it off that time. Okay, again, I'm countering the wind right now. We're going to hit position hold now. It seems to be holding its position. Now keep in mind, I did get this to calibrate at home last night. So that calibration worked. So I recommend, trudging it through until you get a good calibration. But this calibration seems to be good. Let's try the gimbal down. I want to move the gimbal down a little bit. Not that far. Right about. That's too much. I had it. Moving the gimbal up slowly. I can't get the gimbal to steadily set. Okay, it's a little bit too twitchy, so that's another thing I would recommend that C-Fi look into adjusting this gimbal. Okay, there we go. I got it going now. So it looks stable. I'm going to go up higher. And I'm going to push it off in this direction here. Push it forward and it's going off to the right. So right now I know my sticks need a little bit of calibration. I would like to know the calibration procedures for the sticks. If C-Flight could provide that. Because my sticks, I was pushing forward and it was going off diagonally. So the sticks are not calibrated properly. Going up higher. Push it forward again, and we'll go off in this direction now. And we'll plop it over here. And looks like my wife is down there. No, hold on, let me put my glasses on so I can see what's going on here off in the distance. We're going to turn it this way, and I'm going to come down in altitude. And I have 89% battery life, so I got a lot of battery life. Turn it to the right. And plopping it right about there. Okay, so we're a little bit below altitude. Let's where I am. Okay, and what I want to do is return to home from there. So setting return to home. I want to see if it actually climbs. I hit return to home. Is it going to climb above? Okay, it was below us right now, down in the valley there. But now it's climbing. And what does it do on a return to home? I threw the return to home switch. Looks like it's coming back. Coming back. And I hear music because my wife is turned on the car. Sorry about that, folks. Coming overhead, directly overhead, and is going to land at the spot it took off from. It seems somewhat stable up there. It's doing its return to home. And how much battery do I got? I still got 89%. I got a lot of battery, or 80%. Still got a lot of battery. And can I stop that return to home? I turned it off, but it didn't stop. It continued on. Okay. Oh, that was the wrong button. I'm sorry that I did return to home. Well, let's take back to the air again. Actually, let's stop that video there and restart it. This time we'll go further up the canyon. I still got 80% power, or yeah, 80%. Still got a lot of battery power. Going back to the air again. This time we'll go over here. There's a lip over this canyon here. Right about there. The edge of the canyon, going up higher too. Right about there. And I'm going to turn back toward me. And turning. And you can see that little bit of a cliff there. Turning back toward me. And there I am. Centering it. Now let's lower the gimbal. Okay, that's what I want to see. Look at that area down there below us. Really rocky cliff right there. And coming back. I'm going to push forward now. And climbing. I'm going to go up high this time now. And turning to the right. And heading, let's head off and see how far we can go this time. Heading up the road. And we'll plop it right about there. How far out are we right now? I'm looking at my... Dang, I can't see it. Hold on. Those little letters are really tough to see for the... what do you call it? I have no idea how far out we are, but I'm having a hard time seeing it right now. But let's go out a little farther, go up higher. Okay. Pushing forward. I'm hoping that Mavic is recording the distance. Okay, it's coming back. I guess we've exceeded its range right there. It's flying back. We got 60% power. I don't know how far out we were, but it was getting hard to see. I'm guessing we were about 200 to 300 meters out. Here it comes back on its return to home. Automatic return to home. But again, the telemetry information on the screen is very hard to see. It's tiny little red numbers. Very small. Very hard to see. I recommend that CFly look into updating that. Additionally, if you notice in the upper left corner of the screen, the Google Maps information, I can't get that to work. I've tried everything. It doesn't seem to work. Let's see if I can turn off the return to home. Oh yeah, there. That time I did. All I did was recycle, return to home. Okay, we got 60% power left. I'm turning off the video. Did that stop it? I heard a click. Stop video. C-Flight has stopped. Oh well, let's land it. Yeah, it's landing on the pad. To lower the chair, well, close to the pad. There, right there. So C-Fly has stopped. So this happened to me at home. This app does crash occasionally. So that's another thing C-Flight might look into. So we're starting C-Fly back up again. And again, going to select the obtain and making sure my video is still recording on my cap. Okay, so we should be, we need to reconnect, obviously. It's not showing anything. Okay, I recycled power on the quadcopter and recycled power on the transmitter, and I think we got it again. Here, let's start it up. Hitting enter. See if we got a signal. Do we There we go. We got FPV signal, and drone is under remote control. I know that. So, and we have 13 satellites ready for takeoff. Hitting record again. I'm not sure I got that last video, folks. Unfortunately, we'll find out here shortly. But starting the motors again, and taking to the air. Out or position hold. Selecting position hold. Remember, you're taking off altitude hold and then select position hold. That always will catch a lot of people. Hey, by the way, before we do anything, let me push back on the stick here. Plop it right there. Am I showing up? Right about there. Let's see. How you like my shirt today, folks? This is a bright one, huh? Okay. Now, again, notice the Google. It is not, the map does not work, and I'm not even going to try, but I'm going to press that little arrow on the bottom, and that'll give us the radar view of its position. I'm going to go up higher, and I see my wife and her friend. They're way off in the distance. We're going to go down and say hi to them. They're off about 200 meters off in this direction there. Reducing. Now I'm keeping the flat parts of the antenna pointed toward the quadcopter. Coming down, coming down. And they're down there. Let's see if I can lower. There they are. See if I can get that gimbal on them. Raising the gimbal right about there. And there they are, go walking off to the right. We're watching them. And can I get the distance now? I think I can see 142 meters we're at right now. Again, to do this, if you connect it directly via the phone, you would not be able to do this. Go out that distance. Phone just does not have that much transmission power. You need to connect via the relay on this. Okay, let's go forward a bit and follow them up the road. Follow the dirt road. Follow the dirt road. Follow, 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 follow. Okay, so they're going up the road there. Let's come down a little lower. They know I'm spying on them as they're going up the road. Turning to the right. Walking up the road. Okay, so that's neat. Let's do another return to home. Bring it back. Hit the return to home. It's climbing, climbing. There's one other feature I want to demonstrate here before we run out of power. We got 40% power. We're going to bring it close. Well, we still got 40% power, and I want to demonstrate that. I haven't done it yet, and that's the Circle Me feature. Now, this is supposed to have Follow Me, too. I have not seen that, how to do that, folks. Other than there is a feature there. It says Selfie Mode. Now, I think the Selfie Mode actually is... We'll try it if we got power here. Hold on. But I believe that the Selfie Mode is just simply a headless mode. But you have to select it via the controller or the app, and I'm not flying via the app. Here it comes back down again. And we're going to bring it down halfway to me. And I'm going to turn off the return to home right about there. And now, let's select Circle Me. That's the button all the way back. Now it rotates. Notice it rotating. Now if I pull back on the stick, that should increase the circle of rotation. And that's about as far back as it'll go in this rotate. And there it goes. Let me lower that gimbal. That's too low. That gimbal sensitivity is a little bit too much. So you're going to have to, I would recommend that they reduce the gimbal sensitivity. So that point of rotation is over here apparently. Where, yeah, there I am. But again, you know, they are contemplating, they're advertising it already. It does not have that ability. Waypoint modes and Follow Me. It does not have that capability yet, folks, but in the future it might. But I wish they don't advertise ahead of schedule, because right now it does not have follow me or it has circle me, but follow me or waypoints. That's not available yet. Let's see if I can lower the altitude on this for the rotation. Yeah, I can. There's the circle of rotation. Okay, let's go back to position hold. We still got 40% power. So right now I'm going to stop the video and restart it and go out one more time. We'll go up the road one more time. Off this way. Just do a manual flight around the area. And position hold. My goodness, that is hard to see against the background here, folks. Coming around, coming around, coming around, coming around. Turn left, turn left. Don't turn left. I hear an airplane, but he's above the canyon walls, so I don't have to worry about him. I'm going to fly over my position here. Raising that gimbal up, too. Too high. Raising the gimbal a little bit higher. Too high again, right there. Going up higher. And pushing forward again. Okay, we're going to come in for a landing because we're getting a little bit low on battery, about 29% battery. I'm going to turn it around, and fly it right back toward us. Still turning, 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 and coming back high speed toward us. Full forward pitch. Coming back. This thing could move. And going to come up the road and bring it in for a landing. Hard turn. Coming up the road. And leveling off. And we're going to call it quits here, folks, at how much power? I still got 40% power. So this does have a good long flight time, I'll give you that. So we're going to land it right on its pad. Such a good flyer. So that's the C-Fly Obtain. Let me turn it off. One press. This button is another thing. This button sticks. Sometimes it sticks, folks. In that case, it turned it off. So that's the C-Fly Obtain. Yeah, C-Fly. See about that button too, I recommend. So, and let me stop the video. Video is stopped. I hope I didn't lose that video because I stopped the video after the quadcopter landed. Otherwise, I'm going to have to be relying on what was I using here? Mavic. So we'll find out if this records, if you accidentally turn off the quadcopter before turning off the video. So let me turn off Mavic and we'll do a post-test. So that's the flight of the Obtain. It does still have some issues. You know, it's a brand new release. It has things that needs to be ironed out. Unfortunately, you know, the biggest ones that I didn't like were the seating of the SD card. This switch here needs to be fixed. This thing just is not a dependable switch. You know, it sticks. Additionally, the calibration procedure, this app is a bit buggy, and additionally, it's missing advertised features of follow me and waypoint modes. That's not been implemented yet. So, but anyways, right now, it's a reasonable GPS quadcopter, and I hope you enjoyed this flight. This is Quadcopter 101. Let me get one more thumbnail with Owen's Peak off in the background here. Quadcopter 101, signing out. Alright, Quadcopter 101, I just want to show you real quick, one issue that I got with this is the SD card reader, or recorder, on this quadcopter. You gotta pry it open like so. It's kind of different than most others that you see. It's got this little hinged door that you gotta lift up. Then you take your SD card and you place it flat in there and you try to line it up with the ridges on the right side of the card with a little slot on the left, and it's got to be perfect, and right now it's not lined up properly. Okay, I think I got it in there now. And then you close this door on top of it, and even then it doesn't push down the card all the way. I found that I had problems here in that it wouldn't record unless I took a little piece of foam or tissue, put it on top to close the door like so, and that pushes the card firmly down on the pin readers on the reader itself. So this is an issue too that Obtain should look into, replacing this card reader on this. It just doesn't work, because sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. I guarantee if I took this foam out here, let me remove the foam again, I'm using tweezers here. If I just remove the foam and let it just sit loose like that, even with the door closed, it doesn't, the pins don't all connect, and sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. But I find if I use this foam, it works just about every time. So yeah, replace this too if you could Obtain. That needs to be replaced.